Good morning. Yeah, I know it's a little bit on the later side for what I usually start. It's one of those things that couldn't be avoided. Real life considerations stepped in, and when real life considerations step in, they step in, and you got to take care of business. And because real life stepped in, that's why I've got this run up here. I'm not exactly happy. It's not been a great morning, but I'm not angry. I'm definitely not angry. It hasn't been a horrible day. I haven't gotten good morning, Neil. No, this is my first stream today. Oh, no, I did upload some stuff to Rumble, previous streams to Rumble. But this is my one and only today. Yeah, the dog had, but no, this is it here, and this is actually going to be a fairly short one today. It's 11:25, 26 my time, and I've still got to go to work this afternoon, but had doctor's appointments and such this morning, and the dog got me up at 3:30 this morning, so then I fell back asleep on the couch and didn't wake up when I should have. So it's been a interesting day. Oh, what, over at Rumble? Or were you watching the one about? Had let's see, yesterday's, which was about the National Garden of Heroes that Biden killed, which really, really, really bothered me. I don't understand how that got uploaded today when that was yesterday's live stream. That's interesting. Because let's see here. Let me go over to my channel and see what's there. And go to my videos. Let's see. Oh, my cooking. How did my cooking stream? Whoa, wait a second. The cooking stream was last Friday. That cooking stream was last Friday. Biden kills. Oh, that boy, when YouTube bollocks is up, they bollocks up because they've got my Biden kills the Garden of Heroes up twice, according to this. And then they've got and that was yesterday's stream. And then the old man yelling at the sky, the cooking stream, that was last Friday. Oh, I'm wondering if when I downloaded my stuff. Well, see, no, I downloaded my streams this morning because I was wanting to re-upload them to Rumble. So while I was busy, so I just set up the computer to download all my streams. And they must have gotten accidentally re-uploaded. Oh, interesting. Well, yeah. Okay. Oh, I wonder if. Yeah, those are okay. Well, yeah, I'll have to go and see if maybe when I uploaded them to Rumble, they cross-pollinated over to here. Maybe I boomered a setting over there at Rumble. Oh, Man, I hope it hasn't been too bad for you. I'm kind of curious about what going through my doctor's brain. They're doing Zoom. I can't believe the number of doctors still doing Zoom calls, Zoom appointments. But then, being as my doctor deals mostly with people with nerve damage issues and such, uh, maybe that's why he's still doing everything on Zoom, because so many of us are immune compromised. Dealing with other people, that will take me from a happy shroom or even this shroom to a ticked off nuclear shroom in a heartbeat. Other people's dumb stuff, because for some reason they want to push their mistakes, their dumb whatever off on everyone else, rather than saying, hey, this is mine, I screwed up, I need to figure out how to fix this up. But anyway, I was goofing around a little bit on Twitter and watching Tom Cotton feeding back to the AP. What did I click on? Okay, I clicked on something over here. Oh, this is what happens when you have too many tabs open and you bounce in between them. You hit the wrong tab. But yeah, Tom AP, they've been whining and complaining about their building getting bombed over there in Israel. And it's like, well, if you hadn't let Hamas put up offices in there, they hadn't let known terrorists set up offices inside your building, it'd probably still be standing. But well, you want to come online? You got a mic set up or you got some way of talking? I'll shoot you the link. That's no problem. Let somebody else's tales of woe fill the air besides mine for a change. But yeah, these guys are the way the world is reacting to what's going on in Israel. Israeli soccer player scores a goal. He reaches underneath his shirt at the shoulder, pulls out a yarmulke, puts it on, says a quick prayer, and what happens? He gets a yellow flag from an Iranian judge. And now the whatever world organization handles soccer is doing an investigation into it. Meanwhile, Palestinian players or players for another team beats a British team in England, I guess. They pull out Palestinian flags and start flying them, holding them up between the two of them and putting them on as capes, and nothing happens. It seems like Israel is still fighting an uphill battle against hatred throughout the whole world. Sure, let's see here. Let me see how I can find you a link for this. Let's see here. Share. Whoops, no. Invite. And there you go. Jump on. That's the easiest way to do it. Good morning.
Bro, good morning.
And how are you doing today?
I'm doing better than I have been doing the past couple of days.
Hold a second here. I forgot to put on my headset.
Go ahead.
I don't know if we're getting feedback or not.
So far, I haven't heard any, but I'm not on YouTube anymore.
Okay. Go ahead and talk again.
Yep.
Oh,
Hear me good?
No, it's not coming through my headset yet. Let me double check this real quick. Make sure my Bluetooth is kicked on. My Bluetooth is kicked off. I'm still hearing you through my... there we go. Okay, now we're good to go.
Good?
Yep, we're good. Now I got you through my earpiece and not through my computer speakers.
Okay, so not only having to deal with the whole... I don't know if you know about the Rue situation with me and him, how he just talks about me and all this. And I've told the dude, like, I don't talk about him. Like, I don't talk shit about anybody. I don't fuck with anybody. All right. But yet they had the little stream and he had to bring up my name. So that kind of pissed me off a little bit. It wasn't that bad. I just told him, keep my name out your mouth. That's all. Because I don't talk about you. Don't talk about me.
Yeah,
He knows nothing.
Sounds fair.
Yeah. He knows nothing about me. I know more about him because I came in the whole situation where he just flipped out on everybody and started attacking people. And I seen the way he attacked females in chats and all, and I was like, dude, I just don't want anything to do with you because I see the way you treat certain people, and I just don't like it. So you just do you over there, and I'll do me over here. That's all I got to do. Well, it wasn't really that set me off. That really pissed me off. So my neighbor, he's been living there for a little while now, ever since before, I think, the COVID lockdowns and all. And I've been accused of all kinds of things by this dude. You know how they say the truth lies in a joke? When people joke about asking you if you're a white supremacist or undercover white supremacist or things like that, and then accuse you of doing things like checking their female out or killing their dog. After he accused me of killing his dog, or accused us of killing her dog, I went over there to talk to the dude, and he admitted that he ain't never lived next to no white people before. So, I mean, am I supposed to be dealing with this shit because you've never lived next to white people, and obviously you have an issue with white people?
Oh, so I take it this gentleman is a POC?
Oh, yeah. So, well, what really pissed me off is the other day, I went over there to go hang out with him for a little bit, and he's got this issue where if I don't answer the phone or if I don't come a running every time he calls or something like that, I'm accused of not wanting to fool with him anymore, right? And with all this stuff going on, went over there to go hang out with him for a little bit, and told them I was out. I'm about to go pass out and all that because I was tired. Next thing I know, I get up in the morning and my back glass on my windshield on my car is fucking broke, completely shattered all the way. And I'm like, okay. I asked him about it, and of course he said it wasn't him. But what am I supposed to think at this point? Looks like somebody's trying to start some shit with me, and I don't like that.
That's the guy sounds like he's a little bit on the needy side. My God.
Oh yeah, big time.
And of course, the rear window is not covered by insurance like your windshield is covered.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Well, I mean, it's not even worth replacing on that car anyways. It was just broken out of spite, really, as far as I can see. Because I mean, he did have his yard mowed, and Mom did bring that up. She was like, "Well, they did have a yard mowed. It could have been that." Well, my car was on the other side of her car, so if anything, a rock is going to hit hers before it hit my back windshield and just shatter the entire thing. And I ain't found no rock yet. I haven't found out what hit it yet. So it's looking like to me that somebody trying to just start shit,
And it's stuff like that that makes me glad I put up a security system over top of my driveway.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I wish we could move out of here. I'm sick of this shit. I've lived in a 80%, well, 80+% black community my entire life, and it's always been the same shit. It's always been the white man bad. It's always been, oh, they can say whatever they want and it's not racist, but yet now it's all of a sudden mainstream that it's everywhere. I've had to deal with it my entire life, but now that it's, and I've been talking about it ever since I was 18 years old. I've been political, and I'm 36 now. So damn near 20 years, I have really been following politics and been talking and debating people on politics for 20 years. And I don't have a degree in none of this. It's just what I've been observing my entire life. And I get told that I'm wrong because I'm telling you what I observe and what I know from living in a black community. That's why I take real heavy offense to the racism debate, because I am the complete opposite. I'm a white person that grew up literally in the black community my entire life. And I've seen exactly what goes on and the reasons why the black community cannot advance. It's because their own mentality, because the way they see it. Older black men are not that way. But they get shunned just like everybody else, get called all kinds of racist ass terms. It's perpetual cycle, The Democratic Party, all they do the Democratic voters, all they do is follow pop culture. That is all they do. Pop culture consumes their entire life, even to the point where they become nothing but consumers. They spend all their money on trinkets and having the best and the newest things, and they've got to be on top of it. And Republicans are not like that. And that's one thing they do not understand. We understand them, but they don't understand us. Because most of them, they completely want to steer clear from politics. And it's also taboo in most Democratic households that you can't talk about politics. That's why nothing ever gets done on the Democratic side. Plus, they just believe in bigger government, bigger, more stuff. Like ever since the 60s, we've gone completely far left. This country is not right wing at all at this point. We don't have a free market system. Like the government regulates everything. Why can't people just see this and accept it? And then let's figure out a way out of this. But no, never the answer. The answer is always by most people is that we just didn't do enough, or we didn't spend enough money on it. Yeah, right.
Well, I don't remember who was that said it, but
Lyndon B. Johnson,
about
200 years.
The republic will last until the people realize they can vote themselves money out of the government paychecks.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that one, actually.
Yeah, once people realize that they can vote for the person that's going to give them the most government largesse, then that's going to be the start of the decline of the country.
Yep.
Because then it's, at one time, JFK said, ask not what the country can do for you, but what for you can do for the country.
Mm-hmm.
And today it's just, to hell with what I'm going to do with the country. Yeah. What
can they do for me?
No, the country owes me.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not a race thing. It's not a gender thing.
That's just a selfish mentality.
It's at this point, it's a generational thing. Unfortunately, the World War II generation is apparently the last generation that's really looking out as a whole what to do for the country. I know people. I'm 61. I think one time you were asking how you thought didn't know if I was an old man or whatever, or somebody was. And yeah, I mean,
I was just wondering how old you were.
Yeah, I'm 61, and I know people my age that are sitting there saying, well, with their hands out, I want.
Yeah.
Now that's not everybody. I'm sort of painting with the broad brush here. Let me get that out. Yes, I know I'm painting with the broad brush.
I wouldn't necessarily say that, because it's a lot of people.
As a younger generations, though, now they're begging for their college loans to be paid out because, I took got a degree in a studies program. Well, what good is that degree? I mean, can you manufacture with it? What can you produce with that degree? If you can't produce something with when I say, feminine studies, race studies, gender studies,
social sciences.
Unless you get either a teaching position or hired by a company to handle that part of their business,
specific
right?
Field.
You're not going to make a living doing that. So if you're not making a living and you've borrowed $100,000 or $120,000 or more to get a degree, and you're out there making $60,000 a year at best, it's going to take you a long time to pay off that $120,000 student debt you got.
Well, I think the price of it is mainly because of the government backing the loans. The colleges themselves, they're going to get their money, whether it be from you or from the government, and the government gets it back from you, they're still going to get their money. So they're guaranteed, no matter what, if you were enrolled, they're going to get their money.
Well, another part of the problem is
teachers
the mandatory classes. Mandatory classes. You have to take this, you're going in there for a technical degree. You're going in there for engineering, electrical engineering or mechanical engineering. You're going into there for a journalism degree. You're going in there for any one of the STEM fields. Okay. But you've got to take a feminist studies class. 2 years in a row, or you have to take a ethnic class, or you've got to take any one of these touchy-feely classes. And
Well,
that
it's not
professor,
even really those.
Those professors don't teach for free, so you
It's not
still
even
got to
really
pay for that class.
specific classes though, because if you look at, like, say for instance, even public education, they're doing it in colleges and public education, but like Common Core, CRT, they're trying to put it in math classes. They're trying to put it in every aspect of education in general. And they've been doing this for a long time. That's why I keep bringing up the 60s with people. Like, the 60s was a huge turning point in this country, and people don't even realize it. Kids my age, they don't know nothing about it. And when you tell them about it, they agree, but then they don't agree at the same time. Like, they'll agree that, because the way I word things, I don't seem very political until I talk about certain politicians, because I do talk about the Democratic Party more than I do the Republicans, because I think the Democratic Party is definitely the the thorn in the tiger's paw, and has been the entire time, because they've done nothing but bank on collectivism and identity politics throughout the history of this entire country. They started with the white people, then they moved to the black people, now they're on brown people. They're trying to fucking just milk everybody for what they're worth, and everybody's just going along with it, thinking they're going to get something out of it. And the world doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. And when you try to tell people like this, all they could say is, well, kids my age, all they could say is, well, I don't know, we got to do something, or, around here, he's the guy, just meaningless phrases, honestly. And they'll tell you that you're wrong, but they can't explain how you're wrong because they don't know. But they get mad at you. No matter how you talk to them. I've been in debates so much. I can sit here and talk to people just like this and have them triggered so bad, and then calm them down after the fact. And I'll just
triggering
tell them,
happens though, depending on how emotionally invested a person is on that subject. There are some subjects that will get me, if you've listened to my streams, there are some subjects that get me very emotionally involved. And
pretty much anything political gets me pissed off. Because I've just been watching it for so long, and I can see where it's going, and I'm just like, there ain't nothing you can do about it, because no matter how much you talk to people, nothing ever changes. So it's like, I don't know. The past 20 years
it's changing every day.
Culturally.
Culturally. As Andrew Breitbart said, politics is just downstreams of the culture. What is going on in the culture today will be political tomorrow.
I'm not sure exactly how accurate that really is, because I know for a fact they use culture to influence politics. So at times, at times it could be downstream from politics. And at other times it could be downstream from culture. It's
the producers and the network that put on the show Will and Grace.
Mm-hmm.
They flat right admitted after a couple of seasons, when the show started to become more successful, that they intentionally performed that and set that show the way they did to change the public view of homosexuals.
Yeah. That's what they've been doing with every single show out there ever since the 90s.
Right.
I think the early 90s. Yeah, I think the early 90s is when they really started changing.
That actually got it.
But not really. Chevy Chase, he admitted back in even the 80s and all that, when he was regular on SNL, he admitted that they were literally trying to sway public opinion politically. You know,
Oh
and it
yeah.
hasn't changed any bit at all. You know, and
Oh,
matter of fact, even if you go back to the days where they were trying to convince people to buy TVs when they first came out, they were phrasing it and wording it and framing it in a way that it is the best way to get the president's message out. So it started out political. TV programming and all started out political from the beginning because they
which
realized the
was just an
potential.
extension of the newspaper man
Yep.
and how the newspapers were. If you go back to the bad old days of yellow journalism, you even go back to the town crier.
Yep.
Anybody who is putting out a message and claiming it to be the news is either intentionally or unintentionally attempting to persuade people
Yep.
to their point of view.
Yep.
And how they word things, in the phraseology that they use, in what is presented and how it is presented.
Which is why I use the Socratic method when I'm talking to people, especially about politics. You know what the Socratic method is, right?
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, that's the method of just simply asking questions until a person is no longer to answer them. And then that's when I give them my perspective. But a lot of people they take that Socratic method as an attack because they want to, after so many questions, they want to know something about you. And then as soon as you give them anything to go off of, that's when they start attack that one thing. And if you don't give them anything, that's when they start to attack your character. It's a very, very complicated dance with people when you're trying to talk politics, especially. But I think I'm pretty good at it. I'm just saying. I can fool with people in so many ways without them really realizing it. And I can find out their political leanings without them even knowing it. Just by asking simple random questions. And your answers are going to tell me what your political leanings are because your answers are going to give you up, whether you want to or not, you know.
And I take, in my job, I get asked by the public that comes in and I have to deal with. I will get people come in and ask me questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I will attempt to frame my answers in the way most pleasing to them.
No,
because when I'm at my job, and the last thing I want is for people to be filing complaints.
Well, that's how most jobs are anyways.
So
you know, you can't get your political leanings in it. So
that's why I phrase my responses, or, you know, if they're getting too pointed, I'll just say, I don't have an opinion. At this point, I have no opinion. And then
that's what's so beautiful.
That.
That's what's so beautiful about the Socratic method. You don't necessarily have to give away your political leanings. All you got to do is just ask them questions to find out theirs.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is when somebody's asking me questions and try and draw me into that conversation, right? If I'm even the least bit leery of getting into that conversation, I go into that dead neutral mode, or I attempt to figure out what it is that they're looking for and give them back an answer that they would find most pleasing.
Usually in a setting like that, they're trying to find the heretic.
So,
and I believe you know that.
Well, a lot of times what it is they've come in and they've been listening to whatever talk radio that they listen to or whatever newscast they listen to, and they're riled up about something.
Yeah.
Everybody's riled up about something these days.
Yep.
You're either on. I mean, there's so much out there in the public sphere that is all us versus them and them versus us.
And it's
That
all on purpose.
right, and it's a there's very few anything being presented as a way of okay, this is an issue. How do we find a way to correct this issue instead of it being we're going to pit this group against that group, and that is our politics, our politicians. It's politics has always been a dirty game.
Oh yeah.
It's just gotten more public in their dirtiness.
Yeah, it's because of the digital age.
Here lately.
My thoughts on the digital age is a lot of people they think that the digital age has changed humanity and society. I can agree that it has in a way, or in ways, but for the most part, I think that it just really opened people's eyes up to what the average person is actually like. That people really are just bad people inherently, and people want to believe that people are inherently good, but they're really not. I mean, just look at throughout your life how many people you thought were people that would never stab you in the back, and yet they did for nothing over personal gain. It's a very fine line.
But then you turn around and you see the natural disaster come through, and for the most part, all that disappears while people are trying to work together to save other people's lives. You see
some of them,
during a flood, you see people who would be on opposite sides of working together to save someone else's life, or working to save animals, or working together to save their community. So there's I still fall down, and maybe I'm a little bit still on the naive side of this, or maybe I still wear a pair of rose-colored glasses here, but I still fall down that on the basic innate goodness of man. All right, that is not to say there aren't scuzzballs out there that are a waste of human flesh. I've met plenty of them in my life. But I've also met people and had instances where people that absolutely detested me, when push came to shove, put their personal feelings to the side and helped.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it all depends too. Like, if they feel like their way of life or their lifestyle or anything like that is in danger as well, there's of course they're going to help their person nearest to them, because they know it automatically benefits them. Take the Katrina for example, like we was talking about. Like, there's a lot of people that disagreed in that situation. There's a lot of people that was looting in that situation. That was just crap altogether. But people still they still came together for some of it.
Right.
It was just the young and dumb and ignorant that just wanted to loot that was actually doing it, just like today.
Right, and when you've got the young and dumb versus older and more mature, then I will. Young and dumb make stupid mistakes. They do stupid things. I am so glad that cell phones and cell phone cameras did not exist 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I am so glad. When I was in my 20s, especially when I was in Germany, I am so glad everybody didn't have a little magic box in their pocket they could pull out and not just take a picture, but take a movie of what I did or was doing at that time. Okay.
It took me a while to get a cell phone. Like, I think everybody else had cell phones and pagers and stuff around me like way before I did. I didn't even get on that train until I got a job and I bought my own.
Well, I got my first, let's see, I bought my wife a cell phone in about 97. 96, 97, I bought her a cell phone and I got a pager. And the reason why I got her a cell phone is where she worked, she had to drive down some awful dark roads at night to get home. And there were lonely stretches, a couple miles in between and betwixt. So if anything happened to her, I wanted her to be able to get in touch with me at the house. Because it would be the son and I at the house and her coming home from work. So
somebody could do something at least.
Right. And then I had the pager that, auto program 1 on the phone, on her phone, was the house. Auto program 2 was my pager. And that pager never left my pocket until she walked in the door at night. So, and then I turned around and ended up about a year and a half later getting a cell phone for myself. But that was more work related than anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, but then by then I was in my late 30s.
Damn.
So like I said, when I was young and single, and especially when I was in Europe, good God, the stuff that there would be blackmail out there on me today.
See, I was always kind of smart. I didn't let people get me caught on camera. A friend of mine, matter of fact, growing up, a friend of mine, she always used to try to get a picture of me because for some reason I was always able to kind of feel when somebody was trying to get a picture of me, and I would look over and then look the opposite direction just real quick so they couldn't get a picture of my face. So she made it a mission to try to get pictures of me.
But yeah, I mean, oh God, my poor grandson, his entire life is going to be recorded. I don't think he goes, I know he doesn't go a week without having his picture taken at least 15 or 20 times throughout that week.
Man, I can't imagine that.
So his whole life is being recorded.
That's why I don't like getting on camera a lot. A lot of people, whenever they're doing streams, they want people to get on camera and all that. Like, I'm not into getting my image out there like that. I don't want to be a public figure like that. I don't mind getting on streams and talking to people, but it's to me that's a little bit too far. Plus, I don't have the equipment for none of that. Like maybe if I had equipment to make videos and stuff, I might think about it. But as of right now, all I got is my phone that I mess with. So,
Yeah. I've got a little gaming laptop I bought about 5 years ago. Well, no, about 3 years ago I bought it. Bought it when we first moved into this house. And a snowball mic that I bought about the same time. It was on sale at Best Buy when I bought the laptop. And the guy said, "Hey, I'll throw it in there for $20 if you want it." It's like, well, it's a $40 mic and you're going to let me have it for 20. I'll figure out something to do with it. And it sat in a box for a year before I broke it out. But it was,
Hey, it's working though.
Yeah, it works. And from what people tell me that hear my voice, to myself, I don't sound the same. But other people say that does a reasonable job picking up what my voice actually sounds like.
It's not bad. Like, I mean, no, of course you're not going to sound the same. Like nobody ever does when you're listening to a recording.
Right.
All I got is a little $30 JBL Lab. Was it JB Labs or whatever headset,
Right.
something like that. Yeah, just a little Walmart Bluetooth headset.
Sorry about that. Had to yawn.
Yeah,
Yesterday was infusion day for me. And then so I was up for like 26. I was up almost 28 hours.
Good God.
And then got to bed last night. Then the dog got me up at 3:30 this morning. It's like, oh, you stupid mutt.
You need to get some sleep, man.
But oh no, I leave. I leave for work here in a little over an hour.
Oh God.
And put in a 9-hour day out there at work and then come back home and do it all over again. That's one of the reasons why I've sort of given up playing WoW. And I mean, I started playing WoW back in Burning Crusades about midway through. And that was the first expansion pack there for it. And just last month, I canceled my subscription. I just don't have the hours to this new expansion, the investment of time that it takes.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have that time to invest into it.
Well, that's kind of how all games are starting to turn out now. If you realize the computer games are starting to come back because they're not necessarily following the same pattern, but ever since mobile games started really getting hot, if you look at all the games like EA games and things like that, they nickel and dime you on literally everything. That came from the mobile aspect because they realized that there was a lot of children, especially, that play the mobile games and they've got their parents' credit cards and they will spend money. I know one female in particular, her young son played the same game that I used to play, which was War Robots on mobile. He ended up spending like a couple of $100 on that game before she realized that he had spent any money, and she was mad. And it's the way it goes now. Like they want you to buy the game, they want you to buy the additions that they put out, the downloads. They want you to buy a subscription so you can play online against people. They're nickel and diming you the entire way. And ever since they started doing that a while back, I've just stopped playing video games, man. I've been a gamer my entire life, but like the last game I really got into was probably Call of Duty 4. And I was like top 5,000 in the world on that game. I was a beast.
Well, actually, what's more insidious as far as these cell phone games go, I play a golf game as a time killer.
Mm-hmm.
And the golf game was free to download and it's free to play. But if you want to, if you want to improve your club, get a better club, you've got to get so many of these little tokens, and you can get 200 of these tokens for $2. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
200 tokens or 600 tokens for $2 or 1,000 tokens for $5, whatever it is. You go, $2, $3, that's not much.
Yep.
And then you sit there and think about it, and it's, and I'm one of these people. I always do the math before
$2
I buy
here,
anything.
$5 here, $1
And,
here.
and I sat down, figured up to upgrade just one club, one level would cost almost $100.
What?
Yes.
That's just ridiculous.
But
That sounds a lot like War Robots, because
so
the funny thing about War Robots is it's a Russian company. So when all this Russia started coming up and people started bitching about Russia, I would just tell them, because I knew they paid money for that game. Like I paid a little bit of money for that game, but not much. And that was a long time ago when that game was totally different. Now they've just added so many aspects to the game and so many ways that you can pay money that it's not worth playing at all whatsoever. But when people started bitching about Russia, I was like, you do realize you're paying $100 or $200 a month to a Russian company, right? And they would shut up. Because I've known people that have paid thousands of dollars to that game.
right.
Thousands. And I'm like, how? Why? Like, what are you thinking? Like, you're
That
paying money to a game that you're not getting anything out of.
that's exactly right. I mean, all it is a time waster.
Yeah.
That's all it is something to fill the time. And that's why, I mean, yeah, I break out the golf game every now and again. I may play, a round of golf, lose, and okay, no problem. And then I break out the audiobook and sit back and relax.
Mm-hmm.
Or I put on some Hank or Willie or Johnny Cash and sit down and listen to them and relax. Because
The
I'm not going to.
last EA game I bought was it was Fight Night on my Apple phone that I had a long time ago. And they ended up giving me, since I paid for that game, they ended up giving me one of the Tiger Woods for free. And I'm not gonna lie, that was a fun game. I've never really played golf. The only time I've physically played golf was one time in my life whenever me and my homie, he wanted to go play golf and I've never played. And he was like, well, just tag along and, I'll let you hit a couple of balls every now and then, but I want to go play. You tag along if you want. It's like, hell yeah. It was fun. I played disc golf. I play a lot of disc golf. Another one of my homies, he got me into disc golf a couple of years ago, and I've just been playing ever since, just because I like having fun playing it. But I'm not very competitive on it.
Disc golf. Is that like
Mm-hmm.
frisbee golf?
Yep, same thing. Some
Oh,
people call it frisbee golf, but it's called disc golf officially. But yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's right. They couldn't call it frisbee golf because frisbee is a trademarked name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's fun to me.
I was watching some guys play that one time. They had these poles set up with chains running off of them.
Yep.
And little chain traps, I guess is what you'd call them. And they're trying to get their frisbee or their disc caught inside of that
yep,
little caged area, I guess.
it's just like golf. Normally, you've got par threes unless they're over like 500 foot or so. But even then, it's kind of subjective because some people or some courses, they'll still count something over like 500 foot as a par three when that's clearly a par four. Like most people can't shoot over 300 foot, in the first tee off. Like it's just most people ain't got it. There's some people that do. One of my homies, actually two of them, they're professional. one of them, he just got accepted to go to the World Series disc golf, I think in Florida. So that's pretty cool. But he travels all over the place and does that. Another one of my homies, he does it too. Travels all over the place and competes. Like, I'm just not that competitive. Plus, I'm not that good to just compete. I'm just looking to have fun, man. And I noticed a lot of times when you get into tournaments with people, you definitely have to watch them like a hawk, because they would try to cheat every single chance they get. And I'm not down for that.
Yeah. Again, when I grew up playing with the Frisbee, it was 2 or 3 people standing 30 yards apart, just throwing the Frisbee back and forth and laughing when when the guy overshot it or couldn't catch it, or you try to catch it on one finger and let it spin around. Hey, that was the move.
Well, see,
Somebody,
you got different styles or different games of it too, because that's kind of like just the back and forth style of it. Then you've got Frisbee football, and then you've got Frisbee disc golf, however you want to say it. So
well,
you
I mean,
got,
that's fine.
but
Whatever
disc
gets
golf
people
is,
out running around and burning energy, I guess.
oh yeah, well, disc golf is pretty different too, because you got way different Frisbees that you use for it. Like, totally different. They're not at all the same as like the regular Frisbee that you're used to.
Well, yeah, because you'd absolutely destroy the regular Frisbee, beating them against that chain.
Well, that, and they don't go that far.
I
Now
could
you can,
throw. I could throw.
uh,
I had that white Frisbee, and you could get a good. Remember, I grew up on a working farm, and we had
mhm.
all the room in the world to be throwing that stuff at. And yeah, we could get some pretty good distance off of those Frisbees.
You ought to see what
Uh,
they do now with them.
had a little sidearm throw like we did when we were throwing clay pigeons.
Hmm.
And I mean, because you had to learn how to throw a clay pigeon so that the shooter had a chance to get it.
Yep.
And you put that same arm motion into a Frisbee, and yeah, you can get some pretty good loft on that Frisbee and get it doing some serious sailing.
Oh, I know.
But one of the things we used to do with this silly critters would who could we'd stand in front of the barn doors,
Hmm.
and who could get the Frisbee to go out and come back and hit the barn door behind you.
Oh, yeah. So you can do that with a regular Frisbee. You can do that with a regular Frisbee. If you catch the wind right, you can do it. But like disc golf Frisbees, they're different. Like, oh man, they're so varied.
Oh,
Like,
you
it's
can't get
crazy.
that. You can't get it going backwards on you.
You can in certain circumstances, yeah, but like I said, they're meant for, well, most of them are meant for distance, but you've got different ones that you could do different things with. Like, say for instance, the first uh disc that I had ever bought was called a Buzz SS. It's made by Discraft, and I've
Okay.
always kept a Buzz in my bag. Matter of fact, I've got two of them in my bag right now, because I've got two Rivers, which are my distance drivers that I mostly throw, and I've got two Buzzes, and those are mid range. And you can do some pretty amazing stuff with a Buzz, because it's very well rounded, and you can curve it just about any way you want, and it'll stay on that line. But like distance drivers, if you try to do the same thing with it, it's going to dump off way too soon. Like, way too soon, because you just, it's meant to be a fast moving disc, and it's real thin. The Buzz is a
Right.
lot thicker. Mid-range is a lot thicker, and then you got putters that are about the same as a mid-range, but they're soft, and they're made soft so that they kind of catch friction on the chains and hopefully stay in the basket a little easier than like a harder plastic.
Okay, so let's see here. And just so that if anybody decides to actually take a look here,
There you go.
let's see. Did it pop up yet?
Yep.
Yep.
That shit's so much fun to me. Just getting out there, having fun, and I mean, pretty much disc golf is nothing but potheads and alcoholics. So
Okay, now
most
these look
people you
like
meet out there, it's going to be fun.
okay, now these look like they're three different sizes. The orange one
No,
looks like it's smaller than the green or the purple.
no, it's just the way they're sitting. They're pretty much all the
Okay.
same size. Like they might be, as far as diameter wise, there is a standard diameter that they have to have. You've got the US PDGA, which is the Disc Golf Association, and
Right.
they've standardized like disc sizes and things like that that you can use. I've got one, matter of fact. Hold on, let me look. Let me go get it. This one is not stamped PDGA, but it is PDGA approved because it's the same size. It's just not stamped.
Right.
Let's see.
But these okay, that's just an empty basket.
I'll get my three favorites out and show you. Well, two of my favorites, and I'll show you the mini.
But yeah, this is Frisbee golf set. Okay. All right. I guess there is enough out there to.
Here we go. This one is a river. This one's my mini buzz. I've got this one from my friend because he told me, you want to full screen it? There you go. This one I got from my friend because we was playing against some friends of ours, and he was like, man, if you make this putt, I swear to God, I'll give you one of them buzzes. So that's the one he gave me because I wanted one because I love the buzz so much, and this is a mini buzz, and I haven't had one, so I was like, I want that. And that's my river. This is a Swedish-made disc, and I love this company. It's called Latitude 64. I love that company. Pretty much everything they put out is awesome. And this is my buzz, one of my main ones.
All right, flip that back over. Let me see that bottom again.
That ain't my number, so.
Oh, no. That's no, I was looking at the curvature. Right. I was looking at that curvature there. That's
yeah,
that's
there
we go. There we go. Yeah, because there's no, like on the standard Frisbee. All right.
See, if you look at this one right here, that's a lot thinner.
Right.
That's
well,
dry.
I'm saying
that's
on the standard Frisbee, you've got a lip underneath to the bottom of it. The plastic the top of it comes down and folds into a lip that would help control your airflow. Mm-hmm. That doesn't look like it has that curved lip up underneath there.
They've got different designs now. Hold on. That was the buzz, and now you got all kinds of different designs. Let's see. Well, most of these are. Yeah, that's another buzz. But they have ones they call thumb tracks, which has
Right.
like it has an indention in the very top of it that you can fit your thumb into, and it
Right.
dips down and goes all the way around it. I mean, they got all kinds of different designs, like I said, but you just have to kind of find one if you want to play. Just work with it.
All right. Now,
Yeah.
what is the angle of attack there on those? On those.
It depends on the disc. Now, you can buy an entire stack of the same exact disc, and they're all going to do something slightly different. It's all basically going to be the same, but
Right.
the reason why I like the river, and it all depends on you too, like your range of motion and things like that. But the river, the reason why I like it is because it's extremely stable. And even for a distance driver, you can get it to go right. Now, see, if you try to throw underhanded, which means you're trying to throw with your right foot forward,
Right.
it's going to dump off to the left. If you try to flick it, like you was talking about earlier, it's going to dump off to the right. But it
Okay.
also
Now,
depends on how you throw it.
now remember, I worked on aircraft when I was in the military. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we had to study was the Bernoulli Effect.
Yep.
The Bernoulli theory of flight, I believe is what it's actually called. And which is basically how much lift you get versus drag.
Yep.
As the most, the simplest way to describe it.
If your disc is traveling in a clockwise rotation, your drag is going to be more on your hold on. It's going to be more on your left side. And if you throw counterclockwise, then obviously your drag is going to be more on your right, because
Right,
you've got the airflow versus the friction of the rotation. So it's going to make it turn that way.
But I was also looking at, the design of it where it acts like an airfoil, the airfoil type design where your leading edge and the angle that the air bleeds across the top versus your lift that you're generating off the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And
your fast moving ones, they're going to be skinnier, of course.
But they're not going. But they may move faster, but you're not going to generate the lift to get the distance.
Oh yeah, you will.
That.
Oh yeah, you will. The skinnier ones, you can throw further than the fat ones. But at the same time, I do know people that go out there and throw putters, which aren't designed to be a driver, but they can throw it as a driver because they know how to throw.
But you're going to, your fatter one's going to have a larger weight to them than your thinner ones.
No,
so, I mean, so it looks like it's going to be a constant balancing of your body design versus your weight versus your drag coefficients.
Well, your weight on those, they keep the weights pretty much all the same. Your lightweight ones are going to be in your 150s. Your super lightweight ones are going to be 130 grams. Your normal ones are going to be from anywhere from 160 to 175 grams. So they all have basically the same weight. They're made out of different plastics. Depends on which one you want to get.
Okay.
Like the softer plastics, I find they fly a little truer, but they don't fly truer for a long time, because the more damage they take, the less they fly. But the champion ones, they fly a little different, which are the champion plastics. Those are the harder plastics, the ones that will actually hold up. They fly a little different than the softer ones. Just
Okay,
it's
that's
little
interesting.
things you gotta, yeah, it's just little things you gotta just play with and try to figure out yourself because everybody is a little different, you know. But to me, it's just fun. I love getting out there and just playing. Overall.
Well, it's, again, this is where I look at it. I'm looking at it from more of a technical aspect,
Hmm.
into because that design, it was like, okay, that's an interesting design. And I was kind of curious how that, you know, how it worked, giving what we know about drag, lift, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and then
Well,
still working in
oh,
that it's an actual thrown object versus a propelled object, a sustained propelled object like an aircraft.
I'll put it to you
Uh,
this way: the pink one that I showed you, the river,
right,
like I said, that's my distance driver, you know, and I can get it to fly pretty stable, and if I want to, I can get it to fly to the right, which it's not necessarily supposed to do, but it all depends on the ones you get, because like I said, they do have different numbers on them, and you just got to learn what the numbers mean. And they have some, it'll range from +5 to -5. +5 means it's gonna really take like a hard dive to the left if you throw it just underhanded. If you throw it a plus or a -5 underhanded and you throw it properly, it's going to dump off to the right because of the way it's designed. You know, that's like the fade of it.
right,
But I mean, like as far as like the buzz, the black one that I showed you,
right.
it's mid range, and I can literally do almost anything with it. If I need to get around something, I can get around it. Like everybody loves to watch me throw a big hyzer, is what they call it, because I will throw a massive hyzer that'll go all the way around the world and come back to where I'm supposed to go.
Okay, so I'm assuming then what you're saying is you can throw it around a tree if you needed to.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
How much of a return angle can you get on something like that? Say, could you
Oh
get
man,
I'm assuming you can get 180 on it, but can you get a 190 or a 200-degree bend on it?
I mean, if you're trying to get it to come right back to you, that you can do it if you want to. I don't see any reason that you would need to, but also it's going to be hard to do unless you throw it
Well,
like into the wind because it's
well,
going
no,
to
I'm
want to
not.
go forward.
No, I'm talking where you're flying flat and it actually makes a curvature, not going up and in the wind and then having the wind bring it back to you.
Oh, well, all right, say if you're trying to get a good straight distance drive, then you're going to want to use something besides a buzz like the river.
All right.
You know, you're going to
Okay.
want to
Now,
use a stable distance driver.
all right. So, okay, let me put it this way. All right. You're looking straight ahead of you. That's a 0-degree angle. You've
Mhm.
got your target straight ahead of you. All right. You want to hit a target at 45 degrees to you, but you halfway out, you've got something blocking that where you can't throw at that 45 degree. You've got to throw it at that 90 degree and have it bend around to that 45-degree target.
It depends on how far it is. Um, like I'll put it to you this way: if I'm throwing, if there's no objects in the way, and I'm throwing,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, like a decent distance, like maybe 100 foot or so. You know,
Right.
that would be like a mid-range distance. You know, something that you would have to really try to put effort into.
Right.
If I were to throw with no wind to have to calculate or anything, I'm gonna throw to the right, and it's gonna fall out to the left, and it's gonna come back to the target. See
Okay.
what I mean?
Now, could you? All right. Let's put this. Let's another mental image here for you. You're standing in the middle of a street at the end of a city block.
Mm-hmm.
All right. A block and a half down the road, a block and a half down, you've got an alleyway going to your left. Now, obviously, your target is sitting 20 feet down that alley. Obviously, you can't just throw it straight at your target. So you're going to have to get it to go down that alley. Could you get it to go down that alley?
It depends. If it's an alley with walls on each side and I'm able to get it actually into the opening itself, yeah, I can get it to skip off the wall and go towards the basket. But in a situation like that, what you would really want to do is just get up to that dog leg, to that 90 degree, so that you can get a shot at the next one.
Right. Well, no, but you see, that was the question, though, is can you get it to actually make that bend in flight without you going up and then, I mean, okay,
not a 90.
Realistically, you would take it and you would throw it up to the mouth of that alley, then turn and face your 90 degrees to go down. But you have to throw from point A to point B,
just like golf.
Point B being down that alley, 20 feet down that alley. Could you do that while facing straight ahead at 0 degrees?
If there was no trees around and all that, and it was just a regular alley like you're talking about, I could find a way to get in it.
Okay.
Easily. I could just go over the corner and go straight to the basket if I wanted to. You got to find your holes, and you just got to pick them out. Of course you can't do a 90 degree in mid-flight, but you can do a nice big curve. Depends on which disc you get too. I've got disc in my bag right now I can go around corners with, but it's going to be crazy.
Now, see, now this is nice here because I've never put any thought into that game.
It's fun, man.
I knew it was out there and that it existed.
Yeah.
It's like the guys that use play like a touch football game throwing frisbees.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's out there, but I've never put any thought into the game, into what it takes to actually play it.
I'd tell you what, if you're physically active and you like doing physical activities and stuff, it's just so much fun. Just getting out there, being on the course, being out there away from everything and just throwing disc and having fun, I don't see much anything better. Plus, like I said, the most people you're going to meet out there, okay, you got probably 3 different types of people you're going to meet if you ever go play disc golf. You've got the serious people that really do take it serious and you just let them play through all you want. If you'll see them coming up on you, and they're going to be playing a lot faster than you. All you got to do is just sit down and say, hey man, you can play through. I appreciate it. And you just keep on going. And then you got the potheads, and then you got the alcoholics. That's pretty much what disc golf is.
Sort of sounds a lot like regular golf.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Oh, my buddy, he fucking plays regular golf all the time, and we mess with him because every single time we go to, like, if we hit him up to go play, he's got to change his clothes. He's got to get in his disc golfing clothes and all this. We mess with him all the time. Oh, you got to change your panties. You got to be matching and all now.
Okay. Well, Neil, I hate to do this because this has been fun, but I've got to start getting ready to leave for work. I've got to take Puppy out and get him because he's going to be locked up in the house for a few hours until the wife gets home. So, but this has been a pleasure. I appreciate you coming online and this whole thing with golf, disc golf. That's something, like I said, I'd never even considered anything like that before.
You ought to watch whenever you get time. Watch some of the PDGA tournaments online, and you'll get a good idea of what they do. Of course, them guys, they're going to be throwing way further than you'll be able to. And me too. Like,
Oh, what?
on a good day, I might get like probably 350 out of a disc on a good day, on a good throw. But other than that, like, I can't throw as far as
The
half
way
them
my
motherfuckers.
shoulders are, I'd be lucky to get 50 feet, let alone.
Exactly.
And that'd be 50 feet, hopefully, in the direction I was aiming for. Now, see, I remember like I said, when I was a kid, we used to, up till mid-20s, and we did that. We did a vertical snap throw if we wanted it to go perfectly straight from where we were.
Oh man, I've seen so
standing.
many different throws. They actually have what they call soft disc. There's one dude I know, he's a professional, and he does them tournament things all the time. He's got one of those soft disc. It's not a soft disc. They call it a gummy, I think. He can literally take the disc and just ball it up in a ball and throw it at the basket. And whenever it hits the basket, it just blah, opens up. It's such a cheating move, but it's legal though. That's the bad thing.
Okay, well,
he just throws it like a baseball.
If it's legal, it's legal.
Yeah.
If nobody's made it illegal, I guess so.
Yep.
But
so far,
anyway,
the most regulations are on the weight and the size. That's pretty much it.
Well, at least they don't weigh in your players.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Well, you have a good one. I hope your day gets going well, better. And
it's been better since I've been coming on here and venting a little bit. So appreciate that.
All right. Well, you have a good one then and enjoy. And thanks
you
for
too,
those
brother.
that stopped out and anybody that pops in later on to listen. I'm glad you made it through the venting at the beginning and into the fun stuff here towards the end if you made it this far. All right. Y'all have a good one. Bye.